Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Impact Review for the 22nd of September 2020. Not a bad show this week. Overall, decent show. Continued decent character development. Surprised by placement of some things, but overall, still by far, I would even say, you know what? I would say this was a better show than Raw in terms of character development and consistency. And that is an amazing thing to say. Not star power, obviously, not, draw. You know that they're drawing maybe a couple 100,000 at most, whatever Impact Wrestling draws these days. But in terms of caring about the characters, I care more about Impact than I do about Raw. Anyway, so they do an open video about the stalking of Moose for the championship, the TNA championship. Rich Swann pleads to be given a match for the world championship in the review package as well. Rehet Raju comes out to watch the opening match, and he must defend his X Division championship against the winner. Trey Miguel defeats Chris Bay and TJP in an X Division championship #1 contenders match. This was really good for the style of match they do. Bay jumps Miguel. And jumpstarts the match. TJP tries to interfere. Bay does well against him. Everybody trades Ranas and arm drags and other speed-related moves. Then they do a bunch of counters and reversals. As much as these are unknown talents other than TJP, certainly, this is a sign that one of the things that people in Impact want is for athletic wrestling to matter. Bay gets taken out. TJP returns to the ring. Miguel and TJP do some exchanges, including the attempted octopus stretch. Roll over into a 2 count. Bay returns, hits a neckbreaker on both men, as well as a DDT for a couple near falls. Bay gets rid of Miguel and hits an uppercut on TJP, followed by a palm strike and another DDT for a near fall. TJP locks in the sharpshooter and gets a choke on Bay, releases him, but locked in the chancery on Miguel alone, and Bay breaks it up with a double foot stomp. At times, this goes a little too fast. I wish they'd slow him down to tell a little more of a story, but at least they're trying. Bay and Miguel exchange strikes, and TJP returns with a springboard clothesline and hits Three Amigos and goes for the Mamba Splash. Miguel blocked him. Miguel hits a Rana on Bay. Jumping knee arm drag foot stomp combo. Bay and TJP ending up in the cutter on TJP for near fall. Miguel follows up with a top rope plancha. TJP moves out of the way. And so Miguel lands directly into a cutter from Bay for a near fall. TJP locks in an arm breaker on Bay, and TJP turns it into an ankle lock. Miguel lands on a Meteora out of nowhere on TJP and picked up a win. Awesome opener. Like I said, too much too soon, but at least they're trying to do something different. Anyway, X Division champion Rehet Raju runs in to retain the title over Trey Miguel. Miguel tries to go right at him, but Raju dodges him, caught him with a roll-up, pulls the tights to steal the win. Eric Young cuts a promo about what happened last week. He says at the end his conscience is clear because Swann decided to come after him, and Scott D'Amore decided to give him the match. Gina Miller wants to interview Tennille Dashwood, only for Caleb Connolly to interfere. She says she's busy with Venom therapy. She eventually walks out and has some basic interaction with Miller. This wasn't good. I'm not a fan of Tennille. I don't see what they see in her. Anyway, Susie with Kylie Ray defeats Kimberly with Deanna Purrazzo. Lee goes for kick on Susie and she gets tossed into the leg split. Lee rolls her up for near fall. Lee then hits a tilt-a-whirl, or Susie hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Lee. Lee starts going after Susie, choking her on the ropes and doing other heel-related things. Ray comes in for the save. Back in the ring, Lee kept working over Susie with other illegal moves, gets a near fall from it. Lee transitions into a single crab, and Susie tries to hit a couple of holds, but Lee blocks it and drops her from the top rope with another Boston Crab submission tease. Susie makes the rope. Susie looks a little weak here, honestly. Lee goes for kicks. Susie starts to fight back. She lands with a monkey flip roll and hits a bunch of strikes. Gets a near fall. Susie rushed Lee, but gets caught with a pop-up power bomb. Lee dragged Susie to the corner and went for the swanton. Susie caught her with a palm strike. Purrazzo tries to attack Susie, but hits Lee instead, giving Susie an opening for to hit the panic switch for the win. This is really good. Purrazzo jumps Ray. Susie saves her, only to get taken down with an armbar until Ray super kicked Purrazzo and tossed her out of the ring. She said, Kylie Ray says that she will take the championship at Bound for Glory, making the match official. We get a commercial rallying for Heath. There's a bunch of celebrities. He says he needs money for his kids, but also because he loves wrestling. And cameo by David Hasselhoff, Flava Flav, Nancy Kerrigan, and Chuck Norris. Yes, all of these people endorsing hiring of Heath. This was actually quite funny. Heath's own daughters cut promos. This was cool. I don't know where the payoff is, but at least it's like, wow, there are these people that are celebrities that endorse this, level 3 wrestling brand. At least they're trying something different. Backstage, Motor City Machine Guns approached by the Good Brothers, asking them for a thank you. Rascals come in, and they cut a fiery promo, challenge them to a match. The Impact Plus flashback junk is here. EC3 cuts a promo about knowing what it feels like to be robbed. So he tells Moose it's time to control the narrative. And he gives out Moose's number. Taya Valkyrie approaches Rosemary about not being out there for her match. Rosemary said she was unconscious backstage because Havoc knocks her out. They agree to help each other in the future. Johnny Bravo is rallying up the groomsmen. This exists of the Deaners, Alicia Edwards, Casey Steve, Johnny Swinger, and Falaba. Never realized how just random the talent to fill out this roster are. Anyway, Deaners left for a match. Swinger's mad that Ba is the best man. Why are we doing weddings in all major promotions these days? Gina Miller interviews Brian Myers about cheating to beat Willie Mack. He's angry about this. He starts throwing tables. Tommy Dreamer comes out of nowhere, tells him to clean it up. They are face to face. Gia is asked what would happen if she did this. She said she'd probably be fired. Dreamer told Myers to respect the company. Myers said he'd clean it up, but the next time Dreamer sees him to get out of his way. Not a bad skit, not sure where it's going, but I care enough that when I see this next week, I'll care. Cody Deaner and Cousin Jake come out for their match. Eric Young jumps them from behind. Young pushes Cody all around the ring. Send a message to Rich Swann. Cody tries to fight back. Young has him, in an armbar and an ankle lock and trying to break bones. Cousin Jake comes down for the save, fights off Young. Young threatened Cousin Jake that he's next. Young hit a pile driver on Cousin Jake. Young cuts a promo directed at Eddie Edwards. Swann and Scott D'Amore telling them All that happens from here is on his hands, or their hands, and security finally shows up. What, 5 minutes later? This is just stupid. D-Moore finally comes out and asks him to let go of the holds, and finally gets face to face with Young. Young goes after him. Eddie Edwards sends the champion packing. This is way too long. It's awkward. There's too many players. It's dumb. I don't like it. Anyway, so Edwards comes to D'Amore telling him that Young is walking all over him. Edwards says he wants a rematch before Swan got his, and that's set for Victory Road on October 3rd. Rob Van Dam with Katie Ford defeats Sami Callihan. Yuck. This was not good. Van Dam is a guy who is still athletic, can still go when needed, but this chemistry with Sami Callihan just isn't there. Stipulation of the match, it says that if RVD could defeat Callihan, then Forbes gets 5 minutes alone with Callihan in the ring. They start brawling on the outside of the ring to jumpstart the match. Chops. Katie gets Callahan's foot and allows jumping kicks from RVD. Rolling Thunder, RVD on the floor. And more kicks in the ring. Ref calls for the bell. Callihan recovers enough to come back. Hits a falling elbow and a couple of headbutts, eye pokes, and the like. Then we move to a springboard kick from RVD. RVD comes back hitting a running dropkick in the corner. Stomps and chokes and other really just basic stuff. RVD keeps trying to hook a camel clutch. This causes Callihan to bite his hands. Leg scissors by RVD. Callihan started going after Rob's knees. They exchanged strikes in the middle of the ring. RVD goes for the eyes again. Callihan hit a DDT for near fall. Callihan goes for a cactus special. Forbes distracts the referee. RVD rolls him up after Forbes uses the hairspray in the eyes of Callihan for the win. Forbes now has 5 minutes alone with Callihan. And then Callihan recovers and tries to pile drive her. RVD breaks it up and takes Callihan down, hits a 5-star frog splash with a chair. Callihan tosses the chair on RVD, taking him out instead. Hits the cactus special on Forbes and pinned her. This was horrible. I'm not opposed to the whole man-on-woman thing. A lot of people are. I don't. If we understand it's entertainment and these are consenting adults, it doesn't bother me. But at the same time, Katie Forbes is not a character that I think enough of the viewing audience would be interested in or invested in enough to give her this particular spot. Gia Miller interviews Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Austin said last week he pins Chris Sabin. They're the next in line for the tag team championship match. North interrupts that they run the division, and the North did all the work in the 8-man a couple weeks ago. Paige and Alexander challenge Austin and Fulton to a match next week. Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne announced matches for next week, including the match just mentioned above, Johnny Swinger versus Falaba, to become, now get this, Bravo's best man. Rosemary and Taya versus Nevaeh and Havoc, and the Radicals versus the Good Brothers, or the Rascals rather, not versus the Good Brothers. Main event time, although I'd call it last match of the night time. Not there. Storyline advancement is good throughout this show, but I wouldn't have closed with this. Anyway, so Tennille Dashwood with Caleb with a K defeating Jordana Grace. Dashwood starts with a strike to Grace. Grace gets a hold of Dashwood's and she's taking control, clotheslining her, tossing her around. Back in the ring, Dashwood hits control, works her over with kicks and quick pin attempts. Dashwood hits a draping DDT for near fall. Dashwood goes for a suplex. Grace blocks and hits back elbows. She goes for power slams. Dashwood escapes, drops with reverse DDT into a 2 count. Goes for a submission. Grace powers out, catches Dashwood with a kick, and then goes for another power slam. Dashwood escapes. Grace starts chasing the Grace driver, but Dashwood keeps blocking. Grace is hitting clotheslines over and over again. Dashwood's down. Grace follows up with a couple of shoulder tackles and a Michinoku driver for a pin. And then Grace goes up for a superplex. Dashwood drops down into the Trio O. Dashwood hits a double foot stomp and hits a taste of Tenille for near fall. What a horrible finish name, by the way. Dashwood goes for a double underhook, and Grace powers out and hits a spinebuster for a near fall. Dashwood escapes the fireman carry into Grace going for an O'Connor roll. Dashwood blocks. Grace lands a back fist, setting up the Grace driver. But Caleb distracts her at the outside, allowing a running kick finish from Dashwood. It's a fine match, but I'm not sold on Dashwood being anything other than a WWE enhancement girl from a while back. Like I don't see it. Anyway, that'll close the show. Overall, good storyline advancement, and in terms of advancing stories and talent, better than Raw. So that's Impact for this week. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.